For those in the audience getting to know you for the very first time, care to share where you were born?
I was born in Laurel, Maryland.
And care to share where you were raised?
Uh, I was raised, I want to say, halfway in Maryland, and then in sixth grade, I moved to Atlanta. So, like, raised Laurel, but really, like, grew up in Atlanta.
And do you recall the reason for the move back in those days?
My mom's job had moved her to Georgia.
And do you still reside in Atlanta today?
Yes, I do.
And when it comes to Laurel, Maryland, for those in the audience that may not be familiar with that area, what's the closest city they may be familiar with?
Baltimore.
And how far of a drive is that distance-wise?
I think like 20, 30 minutes.
Now, circumstances could be different for everyone, but can you give the audience 5 tips on moving to Atlanta?
Um, okay, so I'm going to give, when I moved, of course, I was a child. Nothing was in my control of the move, but saying that nothing was in my responsibility of the move. So I'm going to give advice for a lot of stuff that I'm seeing now as a trend that I just feel, because I have moved out of state before. I moved to Tennessee before. So I'm going to give advice on moving to Atlanta or mistakes I'm being made. Don't move to anywhere thinking you're going to be famous. Like, I could I could have 3 million followers and I still wouldn't move to LA just off the sole thing, like, I'm coming out here to be famous or to be an influencer or whatever. Because to me, that just doesn't seem solid. Like, don't make that, like, be prepared to get a job out there. Like, I feel like that's smart. Be prepared to get a job. So I say that don't move to Atlanta because you see people on Instagram or teenagers, 18, talk about they live in high rises and they do this, that, and third. Because that's not everybody. It's not 100% dependable, and don't put yourself in a different state, unable to provide for yourself or with something that's not a definite, tangible thing. So basically, uh, have a realistic plan in place on how you're gonna provide for yourself. 2, to move to Atlanta, don't try and compete with everybody, cause I mean Atlanta is known now as this big city where it's like the scammers and the girl and da 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 da. You don't know what type of life these people are living behind closed doors. Like, you can see somebody draped out Gucci, Fendi, Prada, Balenciaga, and go sleep on their homeboy couch. Like, you don't know. So don't try and go broke trying to compete with people who you don't know. Whatever. Uh, don't discredit nobody. Don't assume, because Atlanta is a big city. You don't know who knows who. Now, don't overlook the person who's in a plain T-shirt and jeans trying to hang with the dude with the Hellcat, because you don't. That plain dude could get you more connections, or that plain girl can get you more connections, know more people. You rap. Her dad could own a record label. Like, so don't discard nobody. 4, uh, I know I already said don't compare yourself to nobody, but this is more towards apartments. Don't try and get a high rise or some nice grand thing. Don't try and get what you can't afford. I know that's not comparing nobody, but don't try and get a car with a $2,000 car note if you can't afford no $2,000 car note. Don't try and get an apartment with $4,000 rent if you can't afford $4,000 rent. And then 5, really look up what Atlanta is, because it's not just great new LA, just everything's peaches and creams and wonderful. Because, like, if you really want to move here for a specific reason other than just what you've heard about it, then cool, yes. But if you just hearing stories about how great Atlanta is, oh, it's so fun, and you move out here for fun, I don't feel like that's a smart idea at all.
Any bonus tips
Uh,
moving to Atlanta?
be prepared to sit in traffic, 'cause traffic's a bitch out here. Actually, stop moving here. It's too crowded, bro.
What are those traffic times?
Of course, it's like around 8 to 9, and then you got it again at 5. And, like, this ain't regular traffic. This is, like, standstill traffic. Like, just don't move traffic. And then sometimes, really, it'd be, like, even at night kind of get crowded because everybody want to go out at night. Yeah. But 9 and 5, definitely. I feel like everybody knows that.
5 till about what would you say?
5 to, like, 6, 6:30, 7.
Okay, now I want to rewind on a couple things that you just mentioned. You mentioned that you went out of state to Tennessee at one point in your life, and then you returned back to Atlanta. What age did that take place?
I moved when I was
Rough estimate.
18 or 19. I can't remember. That's crazy that I can't remember what year. It's all fuzzy, but like 18 or 19, I moved to Tennessee.
And then what age do you return?
The same age. I moved right after my birthday, and I know I came back. I know I moved in September after my birthday, and then I came back in like May.
And did you already state the reason why you moved to Tennessee and why you returned back to Atlanta?
My friend went to TSU, and then they were getting an apartment. They knew I could pay rent, and I didn't have nothing holding me here, so we just got an apartment together.
And then why did things end and you return?
The lease ended, and then I didn't move back. Okay, it was definitely like, it was last year, because I didn't go back this year, because I started traveling more, for one, and two, like, it's nice being with my parents right now because I'm barely home anyway. So I just can't imagine me spending out, like, thousands over the time for a place I'm not even in for real.
And that was in reference to the year 2023 or 2022?
2022. 2023. 2023 is when I moved.
And when it comes to Laurel and it comes to Atlanta, was it a certain portion or more specific area of Laurel or Atlanta that you grew up or were raised in? Does it get any more specific?
Not really, especially not with Laurel because I was a kid. Like, I don't really remember nothing for real.
Now, what was that really like growing up for you in Atlanta?
It was cool. I was never one to be outside for real. Like, I think I just started going out within the last year or two. Like, really. So, like, a lot of reasons people say Atlanta's fun, that was never the reason I liked Atlanta. Like, it's always been cool, but not for, like, the partying and stuff.
Now, what was the top point for you during your upbringing in ATL? What was your highest point or most positive moment growing up in that area?
I'm going to say that's a good question.
If you have one.
I really can't think of a super positive point just because everything has always been pretty good. Like, I feel like I stay, as far as, like, living here, everything stays pretty neutral. I can't think of like, of course I have good moments, but I can't think of nothing specific that I could be like, oh yeah, this was a really good time in Atlanta.
Well, not necessarily a good time in Atlanta, but good time for you while growing up in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so let me reiterate the question. What was the top point for you during your upbringing in Atlanta? What was your highest point or most positive moment growing up in that area for you?
Well, if we're growing up, then I'm going to say definitely 10th grade, just because I remember 10th grade is, like, such a good year at the time. I had a really close group of friends at the time. Had myself a little boyfriend. School was going good. I was on cheer team, like, 10th grade. Like, I was just 10th grade. That was, like, a good time for sure.
And what school was that you're referencing here?
Fayette County High School.
And how far did you get with cheering?
Oh, I did varsity cheer all 4 years of high school. I think I only took one season off. I took football season off 1 year because I was just tired of it.
Was there any thoughts on furthering the cheering side of things after high school was over?
Uh-uh.
Never had those dreams of wanting to be a cheerleader for an NFL football team or basketball team or
Mm-mm.
on some professional level there.
For one, they don't really make money for real. Like it's like a hard that cheer is a sport. Cheer is a hard sport. But they're very strict with a lot of stuff and they don't make like money for real. Like a lot of people always said that they thought like they would be making bank, like the players. Nah. So to me that's a lot of work for not a lot of payout. And two, even when I was cheering in high school, it was cool and I liked it, but some stuff would throw me off.
Like,
I don't know. People from high school are gonna see this and say I'm Hollywood. uh, I don't like being around people when I don't have to be, especially when I'm getting blowed. So certain things would throw me off, especially like I don't know. Like one, I don't like being told what to do. I hate being told what to do with a passion. So that was something that it taught me a lot of discipline, but I didn't like that. For something I don't have to do, I didn't like that. Two, especially when I was underclassmen, I hated people who I go to school with telling me what to do. I didn't like that shit at all. And three, just the being around people and seeing certain stuff and then you would have to be around, that blew me. Like, so yeah.
and was it a certain position that you had during your years of cheering?
Uh, you're talking like I was a bass in cheer. That's what I did, and then I was co-captain one year.
And which year?
I want to say my senior year, or junior year.
Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, what was the bottom point for you during your upbringing in Atlanta? What was your lowest point or most negative moment growing up in that area for you?
Junior year,
11th grade.
yeah.
What happened there?
uh, didn't have no boyfriend. Didn't have fell out with the friends. That's the semester I didn't do cheer. It was just a lot going on.
What led to the downfall of all these items?
Um, really, being 100, it was a whole situation with me and this one girl. I don't even want to speak on it too much because I don't even like bringing her up or giving her no type of whatever. Me and this one girl fell out over a dude I never liked. Nothing going on. And then a lot of stuff just kept spiraling out of that.
Why the breakup with that boyfriend?
That happened a little bit before that, so it was like it was a thing, but it wasn't like one of the main things that was making it bad. At the time, he was like a year or two older than me, so maturity level, we were very mature, but I think in certain aspects he was older and was ready for more stuff, and I was still younger, and yeah, that's why we kind of split.
And who broke up with who, technically speaking?
He broke up with me, but I know he definitely broke up with me, but it was like that breakup took like 2 weeks because it would be like we would talk about it and then we would still talk and then we would talk about it and still talk. Like we didn't even officially cut it until like I don't know when. But yeah.
Now, how were you able to survive that upbringing in Atlanta? Because there are some that don't make it.
And I feel like my stories and my highs and lows are definitely not nowhere near as bad as what it can be in Atlanta. So I don't even want to give the impression that I'm trying to say like what I went through was terrible. Like that's high school drama. Like I didn't have no real like real problems. I'm of course grateful that I could get through everything, of course, but that's not too much to get through. Like there are people who have like real deal issues in Atlanta. So I'm grateful for getting through mine, but I'm praying for those who are trying to get through theirs.
Now, be that as it may, there are some people who say things like, don't know if I'll make it to see the age of 18. 21, for example. Did you have any of these thoughts yourself growing up in Atlanta?
No, I didn't.
And speaking of age, care to share your current age at this point?
I'm 20.
And your birthday while you're at it, the month and the day perhaps.
August 8th.
And be that as it may, knowing what you know now, hypothetically speaking, what would you have said to your younger self back then, if anything?
I say to myself, fuck with who fuck with you. Because I had a bad habit and stuff, bad habit of being real cool with people who don't deserve that side of me. Or being real, I don't know, just, I leave it as fuck with who fuck with you. That you do not need nobody. Like, somebody don't want to fuck with you, that's fine. Don't try and whatever. Because at the end of the day, I swear to God, 9.9 times out of 10, that person gonna end up trying to be back in your life. So you don't need nobody. Don't try and force nobody to be in your life if they don't want to let that shit go. And I'd say focus more on yourself. Like, really focus on yourself. I need to tell myself that even now, because I'll get in a situation or just like I get in modes where I will care more about other people and not focus on what I got going on. But like, they focusing on what they got going on and I'm focusing on them. Ain't nobody focus on me. So I got to be the one to focus on me at the end of the day, no matter what.
Anything else you want to mention about your upbringing or question you weren't asked, people want to know just about that?
No, not really.